Hey, Mike, what do Kelly Slater and PT have in common?
I don't know. They're both world champs?
Nope, they both own Endless Summer box set.
Oh my God, rad. You guys, you can get it too. The link's in the show notes. Hey, this is Mike with the Quivercasts, brought to you by quiverbuilder.com, an online community where you buy, sell, and surf for your next magic board. Let me set the scene for you guys. Just surfed Rincon and I started talking to a guy on the beach. I asked him, how long you been surfing here? He said 60 years. Rad. Do you mind if I interview you for my podcast? He said, sure. Little did I know that I was about to interview one of the writers for the legendary movie Big Wednesday. I am honored to have met and interviewed none other than Denny Aaberg. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. This is Mike here at Quivercast, and I just surfed Rincon, pretty good Rincon, and I just met Denny. So hi, Denny, how are you? I'm Mike.
I'm doing good, Mike.
How long have you been surfing, Denny? Do you want to say your full name or no? You want to just leave it at Denny?
My name is Denny Aaberg.
Aaberg?
Aaberg. It's Aaberg.
Aaberg.
Some people say Aaberg, but it's Aaberg.
Aaberg. Okay, Aaberg. I got
Denny
it.
Aaberg, yeah.
Okay. So, how'd you get some waves out there today?
It's a beautiful morning. Yeah, I got out when the tide was a little higher. It was glassy, and it wasn't so crowded. I got a bunch of fun ones, my friends and I.
Yeah, I looked at it right at high tide. So I went and got a hotel room, came back, and here we are. And it's really good right now.
It's a beautiful day. It actually looks like it's pumping a little more now.
Yeah, like it's.
Yeah, the tide's going out. It's going to get a little hollower. I'll probably go back out.
Right on. Okay, so Denny, when did you start surfing?
I started in 1959.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And where at?
I caught my first wave at Malibu. My
Point?
family lived in Pacific Palisades, about 10 miles down the coast of Malibu.
Okay.
And so that was our favorite place. We go to Malibu.
How old were you?
I was 12.
You were 12 years old, 1959. And did anybody else in your family surf at the time?
Yeah, I have a brother. His name's Kemp Aaberg.
Okay.
K-E-M-P. Kemp Aaberg.
Okay.
He started surfing in 1956.
Wow.
Down at Malibu.
Wow. Okay.
He was there when the famous tube steak shack was there. You know, and the Gidget movie and the whole Gidget story. He went to high school with Gidget, who was Kathy Corner.
Okay. Cool.
And
that's rad.
And she was surfing at Malibu then, and they had the shack on the beach.
Right.
Jerry Tracy, who became Tube Steak, was a whole basis for that Gidget story.
Yeah.
If you know the movie and the Gidget. So that's where he came in. There was actually a guy living in a shack on the beach and no lifeguard. And Malibu's not crowded. It's a pretty amazing time.
Yeah.
I saw that. I used to go up with him and watch surfing, but I didn't actually start till 59.
And what made you decide that you wanted time for you to surf?
I guess, well, in those days, people didn't help you like they do now. Kids start younger, but their dads kind of help them.
Yeah, they're getting pushed in.
Back then, they just pushed you out on a board. You're on your own. You know?
Okay.
I guess I was very athletic. I just did it. I guess I was ready. A lot of my friends were starting. You know, it was kind of a time to start.
There's a group of Groms going out with you.
Yeah, we were the Grimmies at Malibu, actually.
The Grimmies, okay.
They became, guys that were 12, 13, 14, and we started hanging around Malibu, all summer, and surfing every day. And surfing was getting popular, right? Just starting to get popular.
Okay. Was that before the Gidget movie or after?
Well, the Gidget movie came out in '59, so we came out about the same time as it came out.
So you helped blow up surfing, kind of.
Well, we were just part of that. We were on the ground zero of the whole surfing lifestyle. It was kind of an unknown sport before that.
Okay.
In the early 50s and the 40s.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was just starting to become popular for the first time.
Okay.
That's where we came in.
That's so
But it
rad.
wasn't crowded. It was before, it got more crowded in the mid-'60s. And so we were lucky we got a lot of uncrowded days. There were still beaches that were actually unexplored. You could find secret spots. You could get by yourself.
And they're not secret no more.
Not anymore, but a lot of places that are known now were still unknown spots back then.
Well, like Leo Carrillo.
Like Secas,
Ariel Seco.
We call it Leo Carrillo, but we call it Secas back then.
Yeah, before the campground, right?
And even County Line.
Yeah, County Line.
And then Wainimi was really like a secret misto spot, you know.
What about Zuma?
Zuma wasn't such a great place. It had its days at high tide once in a while. It wasn't a great wave.
It's a heavy wave.
Kind of closed out.
Yeah.
But there was tons of waves. I mean, like you're from down south, we go down there, and it was kind of a sleepy town in Encinitas. And Rusty Miller was surfing Swamis, and we had a lot of uncrowded days at Swamis.
Okay, so let's go back to Malibu, if you don't mind. Who were some of the guys you were surfing with? Any names we'd know that?
Well, my brother became quite a well-known surfer, Kemp Aaberg. He was in the Bruce Brown's first surfing movie called
was he?
Slippery When Wet.
Yeah, rad.
And
so cool.
And he was friends with all the well-known surfers at the time. So our house, we had this house in the Palisades. It was kind of open house to surfers, you know. So it was lucky because he's 7 years older than me, Kemp.
Yeah.
And so all these guys would come and I'd meet them, you know.
Yeah.
Phil Edwards came over there, Lance Carson. Mike Doyle was a good friend of his.
Really?
Lance was a very good friend of our family, Lance Carson.
Wow.
And even Mike Henson and Skip Fry would stay at our house when they came to Malibu.
They came up north?
Yeah.
So rad.
Yeah, and God, just about everybody you think about, you know. Rusty Miller was a good friend.
Well, Mickey Dora, is he?
Mickey we knew real well. He was kind of on his own thing. He was a bit older, you know, and he always, but down at the beach, we knew Mickey, see him in the water all the time, surf with him.
But he was a loner?
Yeah, he kind of had his own agenda, you know.
Which was what?
But he was funny. People don't realize what a sense of humor he had, but he kind of entertained the people on the beach with his dialogue, and
okay.
Fantastic surfer in the water.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of who else was that. I mean, all those names are super famous. Like they're the beginning of surfing, modern surfing.
Yeah,
really.
It's like the first big names, you know, all the stylish surfers.
And then what about Gidget? Did you actually see her in the water?
No, she didn't surf that long.
Yeah, she didn't.
She surfed for a couple of years and went on to other things.
Okay.
Got married pretty young.
Yeah.
But I'd see her around. And she was actually worked as an usher at the local movie house show. You know,
really?
At the show. So we'd see her selling popcorn and stuff.
Really? That's super interesting.
But she works at Duke's restaurant in Malibu. She's still there.
Oh, she works there right now?
Yeah, so I see her. We're good friends, so I see her quite often.
Wow, trip out. I didn't know that.
So my brother Kemp started coming up to here, to Rincon, where we are today.
Okay. And what was the crowd like at Rincon at that time? Now, what year are we talking now?
In 1956, he started coming up here.
Okay.
And at that time, there was no freeway. It was just the highway.
Okay. 2 lanes.
It was just a very, And so there was no parking lot. You just parked along the highway right here. Yeah. And once in a while, John Severson took a picture from the cliff, and you can see there's like 12 cars there.
Okay.
And it's a 10-foot day, perfect glassy day. There's only 12 cars on the highway.
Wow.
And you can see a few surfers out.
That's right.
And when Kemp started, it was days like that all the time.
So what year did you start coming up here, Denny?
So I drove, we came up in 59. We rode our bicycles up to Ventura.
Really? From Palisades?
From the Palisades. Then my mom gave us a ride here because we knew Kemp was surfing here.
Okay.
Yeah, he went to UCSB. He came up here to go to school in 59. And he lived in a house with Mike Doyle and all these surfers. And, you know, Rennie Ader was always out here all the time.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, that day I'll never forget. It's the first time I've seen a tube ride. And it was Mickey Munoz.
Oh, okay.
And the whole crowd went wild, you know, like everybody went, "Woo! You saw that?" You know, he was inside the wave. You know.
So let me ask you a question, if you know this information. Where's Mickey Munoz from?
Mickey Munoz?
Yeah.
He's actually from our area. He's from Santa Monica Canyon,
Okay.
which is near the Palisades, just below there. So my brother, I saw John Severson, you know, before he passed away down in Maui.
Okay.
And he told me the story of this picture he took of my brother Kemp.
Okay.
And so he was here on a beautiful afternoon like now, and he had this new camera he's trying out, a new film or something, and he took all these shots. And my brother was in the water and other people, and he went back, and then you developed it yourself, the film. You know?
Okay. Yeah.
And the whole roll for some reason turned out black. You know, there was only 2 shots that came out, and one was my brother doing this beautiful back arch turn.
Wow.
And so it ended up being in the first Surfer magazine.
Really?
Yeah.
So his back's arched and he's like in the curl?
Yeah, he was doing this big arch. It was a see-through wave. And you could, you know, it's in the first Surfer magazine.
Okay.
And Kemp Aaberg. And then that arch became the logo for Surfer for years.
That's your brother?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was like
No way.
It was like the little, you know,
I know
icon.
exactly what it is.
Little icon.
No, I know exactly
The
what
guy
it is.
doing an arch.
And probably everyone else does.
Yeah, so it was kind of, I was here. But, yeah, Severson told me that story. It's kind of amazing. It just happened to, so my brother became kind of famous. And then Bruce Brown, actually before that, invited him to go to Hawaii. And he got to be in his first surfing movie.
Yeah.
Called Slippery When Wet.
Okay.
So Kemp opened the door for me to surf, you know, and you know, it was an inspiration.
So how did he treat you? Did he treat you like the little kid, little brother bothering him? Or was he like, did he
he was
push you?
He came to the lifeguard at Malibu, so in 61.
Okay.
61.
Okay.
And after that for a while. Anyway, so he would take me up there to Malibu every day and drop me out. You know, I just rode up with him and hung at the beach.
Yeah.
So that was great, you know.
That's all. So what was the era that you were like a regular at Malibu?
But from 59 to now.
Okay, you're still a regular there?
But I live up here now. I live in Carpinteria.
Oh, nice.
I've been around here for the last 15 years. But
And crowd-wise, how's it different since you've been starting to serve Malibu and Rincon?
well,
I mean, obviously there's more people.
it's all longboards. You know, when I first surfed here.
Okay. Have you always been
And we can
riding
still get a lot of uncrowded days. You know.
Yeah, if you live here, you can check in more often.
Yeah.
Get those in-between sessions?
So in the early 60s. But I've been here through all the different eras of surfing, you know, the shortboards.
So did you ride a shortboard?
George Greta became a good friend of mine.
Really? Okay.
And he, I actually started doing the music. I did the music with my band for his first movie. It was Innermost Limits of Pure Fun.
Oh.
Yeah, it was called The Farm. We had a band. So I was going to college here in Santa Barbara. So we did the soundtrack for his movie.
And the band was named Farm?
Huh?
Your band was called Farm?
Farm, yeah.
And how you spell that?
F-A-R-M.
Just
like
the farm.
Like farm.
I want to make sure I'm hearing you right.
Yeah, it was the hippie days, you know. And
That's
came out
awesome.
in 70. So
wanna
anyway,
look at
George was a big inspiration. He took me over to the islands, and so I was surfing out here. He had a spoon. He lived up in Montecito.
Okay.
So he was fun to watch surf here. He made that knee board, you know.
Yeah.
And he would do these beautiful parabolic turns, you know, big arching turns. And first guy that really could ride the tube, you know, because he was in this little,
down lower.
and he really knew how to judge the waves. And he was fabulous to watch surf.
Okay. So so were you involved in the shortboard?
Yeah, then
Revolution?
George, he started a shop with this guy, Mike Cundiff. It was called Wilderness Surfboards.
Okay, we're out of where?
And that's right when the shortboard thing was first being innovated and started, you know.
What year is this?
I was actually in Australia in 1965 through 66. And lived with Bob McTavish, and he was good friends with George, who inspired him to start making boards shorter. You know, and he was always cutting them down. And George had those fins. He started making flexible fins, fiberglass fins. He would, instead of these big, heavy, thick, stiff fins, he was making them flexible.
Yeah.
And more like a dolphin fin. You know.
Okay.
And so McTavish was doing all that, and he came over here and it was like 68, I never forget, he was ripping on his shorter board. People were going, wow, that really works, you know. This guy goes vertical.
Do you remember what year this is?
68.
68, okay.
And so he was going vertical on these waves.
Okay.
And the local guys, that's when everybody kind of threw away their longboards and started making short boards.
Were they chopping their old boards?
It was a lot of backyard surf shops, you know, people just taking their boards and sawing them down and making them shorter. So that's when the local shop, World of the Surfboards, George Greeno Designs, were making real short boards. You know, I rode those boards for quite a while.
Nice. You have any of those boards today?
I don't have any left. I wish I did. I have a Wilderness that was made later, but that I ride. But I mostly ride a 9.4 longboard.
Okay.
But I ride an 8-foot board here too. That's really fun. It's a Greeno design.
Okay. Yeah. So, what's your favorite wave?
Well, I'm a Point Break guy for the most part.
Okay.
You know.
So Malibu and Rincon?
Malibu and Rincon. You know, I've surfed Noosa in Australia and
how's that?
Punta Kenya and the Hollister Ranch, of course.
Oh, okay.
You know, I mean, but I like to get a long ride. I like going left too. You know, I like Swamis. If it wasn't so crowded, I love Swamis. And had some fun days there. But I love to surf. You know, I mean, if it's a good wave, it's
You're stoked, right?
But I live 5 minutes from here, from Rincon, so we go down here in the morning and it was uncrowded this morning. I mean, I got waves this morning.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. So, during the different era, what was your favorite era of surfing? Like 70s, 80s, now?
Well, you know, that each one's different. I mean, my peak ability, you know, when you're young and you're so full of energy and power, you know. I mean, when I was 19, I came back from Australia in '66.
Okay.
And I was living with Nat Young for a while in Sydney. I stayed at his house.
Oh, you lived in Nat Young with that, or you hung out?
Nat Young lived in Sydney,
right.
and he was a huge influence, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I went up and stayed with Nick Cavish, and he's a powerhouse guy, you know.
Yeah.
So those guys really inspired me to get better, you know, and I really worked at it. So when I came back here, that was a great era because I had progressed, you know, in surfing, and I was young, you know, 19, and was a good athlete, and so that era was, you know, I probably for the time I was kind of peaking, you know, my ability. I won some surf contests and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, and you want to mention a contest?
Huh?
Any big name? So it was before pro surfing.
Yeah, there really wasn't any money in surfing. You just got
pride.
Got the glory, but no gold. You know?
And you got to hang out with your buddies all day?
Yeah, it was fun.
That's awesome.
I did a lot of
Where were the contests you won at?
Well, I won the Pismo Beach. I won the Malibu once. I won the Tourmaline contest.
Down in Pacific Beach?
I don't know. Back then, just a bunch of small. They had AAA, they called it, or something like that.
Okay.
USSA Surfing Association, United States Surfing Association. They had, little contests every week.
Yeah. Who are some of the guys surfing?
Had it every beach break. They did a bunch of stuff.
Remember any of the guys you were surfing against?
I remember I felt good about beating L.J. Richards a couple of times.
Okay.
I beat Steve Bigler one time at the Pismo, but yeah, there's so many good surfers back then. Sparky Hudson, I remember him.
And so going back to, well, how do you feel about so many guys in the water today and the etiquette? Is it different, or is there less respect in the lineup nowadays? Or do you feel it's just so crowded that everyone's fighting to get away? Especially at Rincon. It's rough out there. Except you've been around forever.
Etiquette is kind of a nice way to put it, you know, but
is there still localism?
You know, honestly, there's a lot of really nice, I mean, I'm 74. There's a lot of really nice young guys that are cool, you know.
Okay.
And they're not,
A-holes.
but at the same time, there's, surfing's always been kind of a self-centered sport, you know. And if there's a pump and swell, people are serious about their wave, you know. And
well, you don't want to get burned.
And these guys are very aggressive, and so if you're out here on a big day and there's all these shortboard guys just ripping, it's hard to get a wave, you know.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
And anytime you take out in front of someone, it never turns out too well. You know?
Well, even if you're a local?
You know, but some people have, you know, I was in front of some guy here, one of the local hipster kids, I call them, you know.
Okay, yeah.
He was really nice about it, you know. They don't care. They're cool. And then some guys, actually the older guys get more serious. They go, oh man, you know.
Okay.
I understand about snaking people, and I try not to do it, but sometimes you can't help yourself.
If it's a good wave, it's right in front of you. Yeah, I mean, if I'm at home, I'm a different person than I am here.
Yeah.
For sure. What do you, give us a good surf story. You have a good surf story? In your travels, or it could be a day at Rincon that was good, or Malibu?
A good surf story.
And nothing comes to mind? Travel, maybe like riding, like you said, you rode your bikes up here or something? Anything exciting ever happened?
Yeah, well, I mean, when you're surfing for 60 years, you got a million stories. Yeah.
Give us one.
Every day is a story.
Give us one.
But just one that was really a fun trip.
Okay.
It was the first time I went to Punta Pequena.
Okay.
It was with Jan Michael Vincent, an actor.
Yeah, from Big Wednesday.
Yeah. And we went down there.
Now, did he surf?
Yeah, oh yeah, he was a real surfer.
Oh, I didn't know Jim.
Oh yeah,
Vincent
surfed at Topanga a lot.
Really?
That's when I first met him.
Okay.
So right after Big Wednesday, so it was about 79, and Punta Pequena wasn't very well known, you know, but he knew about it. There's some local guys that were friends. George Chaffin had been down there on the big swell and almost discovered the place. And earlier, like 77 or something, you know. And so that was a great trip, because we went down there and the dirt roads are really rugged, you know, and we show up. That's when there was nothing there. It was we just parked on the cliff, and we pulled up and there was nobody around.
Wow.
And it was good 5 feet, 6 feet, perfect.
Just you
wind.
two, or a couple other guys? Or like was there a crew, you guys?
No, I just went with Jan. I just rode down with him. He had a nice big truck, you know, 4-wheel.
Nice.
And
you guys just scored it all by
we
yourselves?
was fishing off the cliff, surfing all day, getting fantastic waves to ourselves.
That's so awesome.
It was in June of 1979, yeah.
Oh, man.
And it was just one of those classic surf trips, you know, and we kind of think, oh, this is a secret spot, don't tell anybody. Of course, everybody knows about it now. But I kind of was lucky to get to places like that before the crowds.
Before everyone got the surf
I did that with
and the travel
Noosa
bus.
Heads in '65. There was no one there. You know.
Yeah. Was Nat Young living there?
Nat Young lived in Sydney.
But he has a house there now, right? Is that where he lives now?
Nat lives in Angori.
Okay.
He's got a house in there.
I just saw him like 6 months ago at the
Yeah,
surf
he
museum
did a
with
tour
his
with his book.
Yeah, I got his new book. I was there. That was
He
rad.
came through here.
Okay. Yeah, same.
We stay in
Real
touch. He's a good guy.
That guy's rad. Yeah. Okay. We already talked about what's currently under your feet. So, going backwards a little bit, when you went to the shortboard, what did you think about it? Like jumping off a longboard, like a traditional, real longboard. Were you stoked? Was it a challenge for you?
You know, George kind of opened my eyes to stuff like that, you know, because
experimenting.
He always wanted to. He'd say, "Why do you like that longboard? That big thing flopping out in front of you?" You know. He said you should be a tight package, you know. And his philosophy of surfing, low center of gravity, and you know, the way he approached wave riding was much different. You know, how to extract the speed in the wave and stay tight to the curl. You know, or we just were stalling and running to the nose, kind of. Right. You know, not just that, but
yeah.
So it was a natural progression. I mean, you know, like I said, the wilderness was making the short boards, and I was trying them. And
were you jumping? I mean, did you cut off 2 feet off your board? Did you go from a 10-footer to 8-footer? Or was it
no, but I just had, you know, started getting my friends natural progression surfboards down there. My friend Robbie Dick shaped for them, and so I started riding their boards.
Yeah.
They would give me a good deal on boards, and I remember had the meth model for those who like speed. It was called.
That's the raddest. That's the raddest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like a really good board, like Robbie Dick shaped, and I love that board. It was fast, about 6'10" or something.
Nice. Okay, so in your whole 60 years of surfing, 60 plus years, well, did you have a favorite board you wish you had today? Or do you still have it?
I'm really sorry I sold my 9.3 Lance Carson model.
Oh, yeah.
Jacobs shaped it.
Yeah.
And that was a neat board. I loved it. Also, my 65 Yater spoon. I had a Yater spoon.
Wow.
Actually, I got that here when I go to school in 66, and I just bought one I went to a shop and got one off the rack, a Yater spoon, 9.4.
Nice.
And it worked so good here at Rincon, because you could do everything, you know.
Okay.
At the time, it seemed like a loose board, you know. I mean, it was 9.4, but I could really cut it back and ride the nose and make waves, and that was a neat board. I wish I had that. Any board from that time would be worth money if I kept it. You know,
collectible, yeah.
In good shape.
You could have, had
it
put on the wall.
I had a Mike Doyle model from Hanson.
Okay, yeah.
Which I really liked. All those boards, you just used them, got them digged up, and you sold them. You know, you didn't think about it.
Turn around and bought another one.
So I'm not much of a collector. You know, I had a wood board a Velzy Jacobs.
Okay.
Balsa board. But I don't even have that anymore.
So nothing back from that back in the day, huh?
But I have some guitars that I've kept from the 40s, and the one from 1939, the 52 Telecaster.
Really?
But I don't have any old boards.
Well, let's talk about the music real quick. We won't make a big deal, but how did the lifestyle of surfing and playing in bands, did they work well together?
Yeah, it's very natural. A lot of surfers are good musicians. I think it's kind of a flow. You know, rhythm. It's all rhythm. Surfing is rhythm and
style.
And surfers kind of, you know, they like to have fun too, rock and roll, and it was part of the way of life. You know, I mean, of course, guys would bring guitars to the beach and.
Yeah, in between sessions.
You know, yeah. I mean, the Waikiki, surfing was always music was always part of the surfing lifestyle. After a day of surfing, they'd sit on the beach and strum ukuleles or guitars and sing. And at San Onofre, they did that too.
Yeah.
And for us, you know, on the weekends, there'd be parties and it'd be rock and roll bands, you know. And I ended up. Both of my brothers played. My brother Kemp became a very good flamenco guitar player.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And my other brother was a rock and roll guy, blues and rock and roll. Okay. So I was kind of somewhere in the middle, you know. But I started very young. When I was 12, I started playing guitar. and I still play it. I've never. I played all through the years. I've been in lots of bands.
Okay.
And actually have a little band now called the Wrinkled Teenagers.
The Wrinkled Teenagers. That's a rad name. I love that. Are you guys playing local right here?
Yeah, but of course with COVID, there's no gigs. You know.
No.
In fact, I wrote a song called "No Giggin' Blues." You know. I hope.
So can you find are you on Spotify or anything? Can you?
We have some stuff on the YouTube.
Okay.
The Wrinkled Teenagers.
So everyone check that out.
It's on the Wrinkled Teenagers.
Okay, that's rad.
Coming into your town soon, I hope.
Yeah, I hope. Well, as soon as this COVID thing's over.
We played down at Bird Surf Shed. We did some concerts.
Down in La Jolla?
We did some concerts there.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
That's so rad. Yeah, that's awesome. And then let's see. Is there a board? Well, your future. Do you have a future board you're gonna get that you want to get shaped, or a replica of something like you've talked about?
No, I'd like to get another skip fry egg. That's another board. Sorry, I parted with an 8-foot skip fry egg.
Okay.
That was a bitchin' board.
And skip fry still
I was thinking today I'd like to get. Yeah, he's not doing too much orders.
Okay.
But he's a good friend. I might be able to get one. But I missed that. An 8-foot egg would be nice.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I like Anderson surfboards. I ride a Josh Farlborough model.
Okay.
And it just works for me. I've been doing it for about 20 years now.
Right on.
And they're very neutral handling, great nose riders, pintails.
Okay.
So they hang in a steep wave. I've ridden big days here on it, and they're a good all-around board. You know,
nice.
It just feels natural to me. But I don't like little potato chip boards. I'm not really a short boarder, but I like my 8-foot wilderness.
Yeah.
That's nice.
You can swing that around a little bit, kind of.
Yeah, I can. I like the looseness and do tighter turns.
And any final shouts out? And thank you so much for doing this interview. You're awesome. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Yeah, that's fun to do.
Anybody want to say anything to?
I just say hi to all my friends down in San Diego. I love San Diego, and a lot of good friends down there.
Right on. All right. Well, Denny, thank you so much for joining us here on Quivercast today.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. And until next time, everyone, we'll see you later. Make sure you check out the Big Wednesday audiobook, out now. You can find it at Audible, Google Play Books, Apple Books, and also the Big Wednesday book will be coming out shortly. Keep an eye open for it. Thanks, everyone, for listening. If you like this episode, please give it a thumbs up. Hit subscribe. And new music is brought to you by Sal Pedroza. Thanks, Sal. Also brought to you by quiverbuilder.com, an online community where you buy, sell, surf for your next magic board. And I'll see you in the lineup. Hey, you guys, Endless Summer box set. This thing is legit. It's authentic, numbered certificate in it. It has a 5-frame film strip from the original print. You will literally own a piece of history. It has a specially minted bronze medallion. Dude, that thing's sick. Okay, there's so much more here. Go to the show notes. There's a link on there. Go check this piece of history out. This thing's rad. Seriously. Smithsonian American History Museum has it. It took 4 years of research with 3.5 in production, all hand assembled. This thing's rad. So much to this awesome box set. Remastered DVD, sharper images than the original film, but dude, this thing's so sick. Link in the show notes.